Next on Current News, praying for a miracle. A parishioner at Queen of Angels Church in Sunnyside needs a kidney and hopes to find an angel on earth in the Diocese of Brooklyn. Mayor Adams goes to Rome for a conference on world peace and a possible meeting with Pope Francis.
I always hear about, people who get these amazing opportunities. I never thought I'd be one of them.
Future journalists taking over the Currents newsroom. We'll tell you all about that. And honoring a hero. We'll celebrate a milestone birthday of a man believed to be America's oldest living World War II merchant marine. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. A Queen of Angels parishioner is facing a life or death health crisis and is praying for a miracle, hoping a fellow parishioner in the Diocese of Brooklyn may be able to step in to give the gift of life. Current News' Katie Vasquez has the story from Sunnyside.
Baba's for dinner tonight.
Peter Vukelich is trying to keep his spirits up, even though he's facing a serious health issue.
Back of my legs will cramp up, my toes, my feet.
He isn't a stranger to sickness. For 25 years, Peter has been diabetic. But things took a turn in January of 2023 when he passed out at work and learned his kidney was functioning at 10%. Doctors gave him 3 options.
1 was to get a kidney transplant, 2 was to go on dialysis, or 3 was to do nothing and die.
Now he's hoping for a living donor.
It's a better quality kidney, and it lasts a lot longer.
He's not alone. According to Northwell Health, 100,000 people in the U.S. are on the wait list for a kidney, and it can take 3 to 5 years before getting one. His wife got tested, hoping to save her husband's life.
I wind up getting rejected, which that was also devastating. It was really hard to hear.
Peter's family and friends are all praying for a donor.
Very painful. And I have lots of people all around pray for him.
Spread the word.
One of his longtime friends, Mike Reddington, has been handing out this flyer to local churches, hoping to find someone who might be a match.
We know there's a donor out there, and we know the Lord is going to find it for him. Whether the Lord's using him in this way to kind of grow the faith.
Peter knows that asking for a donor is a huge sacrifice, but he hopes even spreading the word about organ donation can help.
No one would expect, everybody to line up to do that. But you can share my story. You can get the word out. Through God's help, we know that, that my donors out there.
Amen.
Until then, he will hold out hope for a miracle. In Sunnyside, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
If you're interested in being tested as a possible donor for Pete, you can email the Living Donor Ambassadors Program at Northwell Health, and they can answer any questions you may have. That email address is kidney4petevuk@gmail.com. Mayor Eric Adams is traveling today to Rome, where City Hall says he'll meet with Pope Francis. The Vatican has not confirmed the meeting. While in Rome, Adams plans to take part in the 2nd annual World Meeting on Human Fraternity. The 2-day conference begins Friday and will focus on ways to foster world peace. It's not yet known when the mayor may meet with the Holy Father. Here now with more on Mayor Adams' trip to Rome and a possible face-to-face meeting with Francis is the national correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, John Lavenberg. Hey, John.
Hi, Christine.
So, John, tell me, what is on the mayor's agenda for his short trip to Italy?
Yeah, so Friday and Saturday, he will be participating in that World Meeting on Human Fraternity that you mentioned, and that will include roundtable discussions with himself, other political leaders, scientists, athletes, artists, and others on ways to foster world peace. So that will be the bulk of his trip, and then his office announced that he will be returning to New York City Monday, May 13th.
So City Hall officials say the mayor will meet with Pope Francis, but the Vatican hasn't confirmed that. What do we know?
Yeah, so really what we know is what his office said, is that they said he will be meeting with Pope Francis. But until the Vatican confirms it, there's of course a chance that it won't happen and it could get canceled, things like that. And that is not to say it's something that happens often, but it is something that does happen where those meetings fall through and don't take place. So until we get word from the Vatican, we don't know. And if it does happen, we still won't get many details because those types of meetings are private, behind closed doors. And the only thing we would get is a photo op of Mayor Adams with Pope Francis.
And if that meeting does happen, it's happening during a fraught time on college campuses in the city. What's the latest on the student protests against the Israel-Hamas war?
Yeah, so of course, over the past 2 weeks, there have been a lot of protests at major universities across the city, New York University, Columbia University, City University of New York among them. And those have died down to a large degree. They have, police got involved, of course, and they were quieted a bit. But protests still continue and persist, so it is still a tense situation for Mayor Adams to be away from the city.
All right, and we'll keep our eye on that. John Lavenberg, national correspondent for the Tablet and Crux. Thanks so much, and we'll check back in with you about this.
Thank you, Christine.
Now a look to the journalists of tomorrow. We first introduced you to the St. Luke's news team about a month ago. The Whitestone Queens School recently revamped their newspaper, and the students were so eager to learn that a few lucky kids got to visit our tablet news team for a master class in journalism. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has that story.
The yearbook for Stefani next year. What do you think?
These kids already have what can't be taught. They caught the news bug early on.
Some people just don't listen to anything. They just have their own silly life. Nobody would know what is going on. If you have the news, you would know.
Fourth grader Luciano Amoroso and fifth grader Elizabeth Gilmartin, students at St. Luke's School in Whitestone, are contributors to their school's newspaper, the St. Luke's School Times.
Things to do when you have nothing to do.
We showed you how their news gathering is growing as they do.
Friendship advice.
And now they're getting a glimpse into what their future journalism careers could look like.
It was like an opportunity I never thought I would have.
Luciano, Elizabeth, and Anthony Rao, the paper's moderator, sat down with staff from the Tablet and Currents News to see how our product comes together on the page and the screen.
There are positives and negatives with all the media saturation we have today. But these children focus on the good news, like we do here at the Tablet.
The Tablet's editor, Mike Gray, walked them through what makes for a great addition. As budding journalists, he was a source of sound advice.
If you don't ask the questions, you'll never get the answers. And the more questions you ask, the better answers you get.
While Luciano wrote an article for the latest print of the St. Luke's School Times, Elizabeth is an artist who drew pictures.
You don't have photos and the newspaper is boring, right?
Sitting down with Fabi Rodriguez, the Tablet's lead designer, was the crash course of her dreams.
She was really enthusiastic. You can see the passion.
And together, they made her ambitions come to life.
I drew the Tablet Junior, and it was like fun because she would like guide me how you first do the basic sketch and then you make like layers.
You're seeing people walking around with what you created.
They're already aware of the importance of being informed. And as for news from the Catholic perspective,
everything like in someone's daily life, like it could all go together with your faith. The Tablet really helps show that. Currents News is better because it's just all together. There's really nothing you would miss out as you would hear at other news stations that's non-Catholic.
Though there's bound to be plenty of headlines and deadlines in their futures, for now there's no rush. The journalists of tomorrow are today's most curious minds. In Prospect Heights, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
And joining us now is one of those young journalists, Luciano Amoroso. Luciano, thanks for being here.
I'm happy to be here as well.
So you saw what a professional newsroom looks like. So what are you going to take? What will you take from what you learned today back to school with you?
I would bring a lot of people and all the monitors or computers here back to my school so we can just have everybody doing something else and a lot of multitasking instead of just one person doing something else. Instead of one person just doing one thing and another person doing another, so we can make the news come out faster.
Get it all done at one time. That's a great idea. Sounds like you had a lot of fun today. So tell you what, how about you finish the newscast for me?
Sure. Finally tonight, a very happy birthday to a veteran in Wisconsin who turned 107 years old on Monday. Reynolds Tomter is believed to be the oldest living World War II merchant marine in the country. During the war, his job was to bring supplies to his troops, and a job he did so well that decades later he earned a gold medal for his service. As he celebrated his birthday, Reynolds said he was blessed and thankful for his friends and his age. That is Currents News Update. I'm Luciano Amoroso. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.